Hi, today we are going to look at the second approach to solve reducing balance loan calculation, which is in this case finance solver. You were exposed to finance solver technique under 6.04. So you can view the video to get yourself familiar with the variables involved. So for reducing balance loan, there are actually two approaches to solve questions here. The first one being recurrence relation to solve using your CAS calculator. And the second approach is using finance solver under your CAS calculator as well. Right, so you can use either of this approach, but for a certain approach like finance solver, sometimes they have a competitive edge compared to the first approach, and it all depends on the question. So one of the example you can actually solve will be to find out the outstanding balance. Okay, now let's recap. What is the regular payment? Now, regular payment, we are having two scenarios here. So regular payment, so let's say I'm having a loan. So what would be the regular payment under loan? It's actually what we call as repayment, or sometimes it's also known as installment. Now, what if we are going for investment? What is actually the term that is used for regular payment? For example, investment, if you keep on putting money to the bank or to insurance company, right, for investment or even fund, unit trust investment. So what are those regular payment known as? It's actually known as regular deposit. So this investment here will be actually addressed in the future topics, and is actually known as annuity. Okay, so the formula, so the regular deposit is actually for the future topic, right? So the formulas here, right, you don't really have to take note because it's actually taken care by the calculator. All you need to know is basically to solve question for reducing balance loan. You can use finance solver in your CAS calculator, or you can go to financial application in your ClassPad. Now let's look at the fields for the financial solver that you should be familiar with, right? So the first one being the number of the time period. Now this number of the time period here is very crucial that you do take note. It's actually subject to the questions. Okay, you have to look at the question, what are the time period involved. Now the next one, the interest rate. So interest rate, do take note, it must be percentage per annum. So the percentage must be per annum. Next one, present value. Now we are actually looking at the loan scenario here. What happens when you take a loan? Now, when you're taking a loan, the bank will give you the money, right? So in this case, present value will be positive. You have a positive value when you are having a loan scenario. Okay, the bank give you money, right? So money goes to your pocket. Now, what about the next one, which is a regular payment? What is the regular payment for reducing balance loan? That means is installment, or what we call as repayment. So when you actually take a loan from the bank, after that you need to pay back, right, to the bank at a regular time period. So in this case, the payment, because when you pay, money goes out of your pocket, so the payment will be a negative value. Okay, so do take note here. So money goes out of your pocket. Okay, so I just put here so that so this is negative, right? Now, future value of the loan. Now, there are two scenarios here. The first one, when you are still owing the bank. When you are still owing the bank, that means the future value, it will be a negative. So when you are at the stage of still owing the bank, the future value will be negative. Money out of your pocket because you still owe the bank money. So when you finish paying the bank, what will actually happen? So when you finish paying the bank, what will be your future value be? That means your future value will be 0. Okay, so do take note of that. Now, PPY, payment per year. So payment per year, number of payment per year. Now again, this one depending on the question. Now, if the question say quarterly payment, so what will be the number here? Quarterly is actually 4. Now, if I go by monthly payment, that means you know the value you'll be looking at is actually 1 year you have 12 months, right? So next one, another examples, let's say I go by weekly. So how many weeks in a year? So you have 52 weeks. Now next one, I can actually give you fortnight. Fortnight is actually 2 weeks. 1 year you have how many 2 weeks? Basically I use 52 weeks divided by 2, 26. Okay, so for compounding per year, I can actually use the approach that I discussed earlier for the PPY. If they state terms like this, quarterly, monthly, weekly, or fortnightly compounding, then I can use the value as discussed earlier here for compounding. But do take note, this is for compound, this is for payment. Okay, now for the reducing balance loan, normally the PPY or the CPY, actually they are taking the same value.